the polarity of the position that he holds, right? The power that he wields with his words, they mean things. And even if he's not under oath, his rhetoric moves markets, and there's no reason for him to be fumbling around with. No, I sound like a rational, constitutional conservative. I sound like the guy that you want to be. That's the crazy part. But go.
How stupid is this guy? You don't even read. So again, the lefties always try to read Donald Trump's or his meaning or the context of what it is. And when you're looking at his post, you don't have it, bro. And everybody knows you don't have it. You personally, like, yeah, you for it. You just don't have it.
Yeah, I don't hold that post.
The point I'm making is pretty clear. If you look at the Commonwealth, the gentleman that was just beating your ass about 3 minutes ago, he's absolutely right. This is just like the Paris Climate Accord, if you were to believe what you're saying, right? These are all independent countries that say, hey, we'll all do this. And the main three things is trade. That seems to be a priority of Donald Trump. The other thing is democracy, culture, right? Like things that you hold in common. And anybody can leave anytime that they want to leave. But you want to look 50 miles ahead when you're tripping 2 feet in front of you. Just saying. Okay. Conservative.
Someone else later tweeted that.
Your mic sucks.
It's crazy. The idea is just like, hey, Donald Trump blowing smoke signals. No, I didn't hear anyone talking. Who was talking?
It's my AirPods, Samoa. They fucking suck. I took them out. The AirPods fucking suck. I don't know if I got water in them or what, but okay. So I looked up, Jamaica situation. I don't know much about what it means to be a commonwealth. I don't know if this issue Jamaica was having is a result of them being a commonwealth or something some agreement that happened earlier, but this article I put in the chat is the title says Jamaica introduces bill to remove King Charles as head of state and become a republic. It says Jamaica has tabled a bill in parliament to remove King Charles as its head of state and transition the country to a republic. The Caribbean country is one of many former colonies that retained a British head of state after independence in 1962. So this is what I want you guys to let me know. Is this is not a result of being a commonwealth, is it?
No. So like there's in the Commonwealth, he's the head of state. I think it was 16 of the whatever it was. I was just reading this yesterday. No, there's a small, I think they're called the interior something, but there is designated countries that has him as head of state.
Okay.
The other 56 don't.
Okay, so this is not because they're a commonwealth. They're Trump. Okay.
It is precisely because they are a commonwealth. In order for them to not be the commonwealth,
you're tripping on that one.
Head of state. And secondly, because, you see, Jamaica has a prime minister that's elected by the people. Then they have what's called a governor general that is assigned by the king. The governor general is on top of the prime minister and can overrule the prime minister, right? And that's where it will get tricky. People don't know about the structure of the Commonwealth, right? Secondly, the Commonwealth is literally, if the king asks you for something, you have to provide it. Military aid, assistance in hurricane, and all this other crazy nonsense, right? Because all these things are hiding under the surface. There's the reason why they don't have president, right? They have prime minister, because what the prime minister does is it advises the king. That's why it's a prime minister and not a president, right? And that's why Jamaica is not, quote unquote, a republic. Because they are a commonwealth of the British Empire.
But every commonwealth does not have the king as the head of state, right?
I think most of them have the king at the head of state.
No.
Hold on a second, Samoa.
Just answer her question.
Who's the head of state of Canada? That's the most famous one. Who's the head of state of Canada?
Why don't you answer my question?
Smart.
Why don't you answer my
Prime
question?
Minister.
The head of state. The prime minister is the head of
You don't want to answer my question, Matt?
President? I don't know.
They don't have. Canada don't have a president.
You don't want to answer my question, Matt?
What was your question?
Does every country in the Commonwealth have the king as the head of state?
No.
I think Kenya might be an exception.
Oh my goodness!
That was also an exception.
Crazy.
They're all like exception. They have to. Yes. No.
Bro, it says
But
only
the
15
obligation-
countries
The
out of the
obligation-
56.
Oh my God. The obligations, right, are outlined in the in the Commonwealth Charter.
Oh my goodness!
What Samoa is saying is of the 50 plus countries that are commonwealths, they all
I'm not sure it's 50 either.
It says like 56, 59.
Yeah,
it's
over
56.
50 countries, over 50
Yes.
countries that are British Commonwealths. What Samoa is saying is not all of them have the king as the head of state. That is what he's asking you.
No, they don't all have him as the head of state, but
Thank you,
he's
Chili's.
the head.
That's great.
He's the head of
Thank
the
you, Chili's.
Commonwealth. He's still the head of the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Chili's.
It's
Thank you.
still not a
Thank
good
you.
thing because it all started with the British Empire. It's a vestige of
Thank
the
you,
British
thank you,
Empire.
Chili's. I really appreciate you coming to my
Join the
restaurant.
British Commonwealth to trade with Great Britain, with the
Yeah,
United
thank you,
Kingdom. We do not need to join the Commonwealth. It's a bad idea. They're already our allies, and we already have a treaty. And nobody would be upset if he was just trying to renegotiate trade. Nobody would be upset.
Samoa, do you approve of Trump considering trying to join the Commonwealth?
No, I don't even think. I'm a person that waits until somebody asks some of this question before I jump off the cliff. But it goes against everything that he's been running against. Reciprocity, reciprocal trade. You guys have been formed just to destroy us. The EU was only united just to... Everybody takes advantage of us. Talking shit to the prime minister in the Oval Office where he says, where the prime minister's talking and he's like, oh, yeah, uh-huh. He says, yeah, we have to combat Russia. And then Donald Trump looks at him and is like, can you do it by yourself? Like, this is some, like, big dick energy type shit that, like, these types of dudes do in your face type shit. And that shit is crazy. So to be like, okay, now I'm going to get on my knees. And now we're going to do whatever it is that you guys want to do. Just sounds totally contrary to what he's running on. So that's where I'm at.
So basically, you're not taking it seriously right now, Samoa.
No.
Okay.
That's what if Florida's saying something, I'm automatically on the other side of it. Just saying.
This is interesting. Well, I mean, but it was crazy to see so many people jump out the window. So, I was really looking like, okay, where did he say this? And then when I read what he said, it was like, okay, this is what y'all was
It's an
putting out the
absurd
window
thing to
for?
say. Let's be honest,
I don't
it's an
get it.
absurd thing to say. And this is why sometimes we can't really take Donald Trump seriously. Like, I don't even understand why he would make a mention of it, say something like this. But then again, I'm going to be honest, the American public is so stupid. Donald Trump can say almost anything and people don't even know what he's saying. And then we have those arguments that
Matt,
are like
if you look at the article, Matt, it's suggestive.
Even that, I don't understand. Why would you even suggest that?
No.
What is the
I'm talking
point
about the
there?
invitation. The invitation in the article hasn't even been made.
It's not
It's
about the
suggest-
correct. I don't understand the suggestion here. Like, what's the point?
He
What's
just
the
said he
gain?
loved King
What's
Charles.
the
Like,
gain?
did that mean he was gonna bow down and make us, the British bitch? Like that was not what
Bro,
we
we know that Trump does this flattery thing. Like he's like, oh, this person's the greatest. Oh, but whatever the hell, right?
Yeah.
But
that's
the article
negotiation
says
tag.
that in a future meeting that Donald Trump accepted the offer for the meeting, that there's going to be this offer or this invitation given to Trump. So it's never actually happened. And then he posts, and I think it's some tongue-in-cheek shit that he does, but then people want to be like, but you're not supposed to talk like that because you're the president. Bro,
Yeah, but you don't think that, like,
the hell?
poor taste?
Hold on. They re-voted this guy in, bro.
What does that mean?
The damn thing about this guy 10 years ago.
Hold on.
Yeah, I voted for this fucking guy, alright? That's why I'm allowed to have my criticism.
Hold on.
No, you didn't hear what I said, bro.
Hold on a second.
You didn't hear what I
So
said.
because Donald Trump was voted in, he's above reproach, and we can
No.
anything he said. So
No, what I'm
because he was hold on a second. Because he was voted in, I'm not asking you a question, right? So you don't have to jump off the mic. So because we voted him in, it means everything he does is right. It means that he should not be called out for violating law. He should not be reproached for disobeying justice ruling. Like, how dumb are we as a country?
You're getting the hang of it, Matt.
Accept that, right? Like, I don't understand you people who actually think, well, he was voted in, therefore he can do whatever he wants to do.
That's not what we're saying.
Antithesis. I'm not even asking you a question, right? That is antithesis to the American quote-unquote democracy, the greatest democracy the world has ever known.
Yeah, so anybody can have their critiques on the guy. The point that I'm making is that for 10 years, everybody knows exactly what they're getting when they're voting for the guy. That he talks a certain way, he's not going to conform to your nobility and how the Brits walk around with their nose in the air, and the prestigious ways of mannerisms. That's not who the guy is, and everybody can accept that, right? They voted this guy in because of the results. That he said he's going to do something, and he's a person that they believe they can actually do it. That whole personality thing and that whole, this is the high moral ground, populists don't rock with that, bro. And you should see where everybody's moving with it. They don't fucking care about that shit anymore. Those cultural norms are gone. They make you feel good, and they never deliver on a promise.
Imagine asking someone to be
Jesus.
Imagine asking someone
You're willing to tear down all social norms because of a guy, because of a strong man.
But then again,
It's not about the guy, dude. It's
Yes,
not
it
about
is
the guy.
because of the guy.
What? No.
Because they tried
It's
to
about the
save
culture.
your life.
No, it's about the culture.
I don't believe that for half a second, Doug. And that we can't possibly.
The culture, what does that mean? You want to just like force a whole new culture upon America?
No.
Just
This is the culture, bro. The culture that the left has been running is the rich, the autocracy, and the autocrats and all these certain things, right?
No, I don't. I don't know the autocrats. What are you talking about?
All right, here, let me slow it down. There's this classism argument that's been made for a lot of people at the bottom of society, that the people that have been taking advantage of them are the rich people. The left has been running this forever. They've been saying, hey, they don't pay their fair share in taxes, da-da-da-da. Okay, fine. And now they're fed up because the people that said that they were going to go fix it haven't fixed it. And whenever they promise to fix it, it never gets done. So when Trump comes in and says, look at all this wacky shit that's been going on for the same people that said that they're going to solve your problems 70 years ago, they haven't been able to provide you any type of relief. I can do it. And they tend to believe him. So, hey, that's what it is. But you get what you pay for is basically what I'm saying. That's his personality. He showed you the first time that he talks the way that he talks. He does things that are unconventional, and people were willing to accept that for the results. It's not saying that everything that he's saying is right or wrong. It's not saying that you can't critique him. It's just that you're saying the same shit that the lefties say, and if you can't acknowledge where you're at right now, that's a you problem.
It just means that they're more rational than you, right?
Oh, because you can't acknowledge the change. Okay.
Because you can't acknowledge that bowing to the crowd is antithetical to him.
Yeah, but for you to get there, you have to make a lot of assumptions, and you know what they say.
You already understand history. There's no assumptions that need to be.
The assumption is about what is being offered and what is being accepted. That's the assumption. Dum-dum. Sheesh.
Wow, that's right. That's
It doesn't matter what. It does not matter what this man does or says. If Trump says burn everything down, fuck America, Samoa will find a reason why that's good.
We
That's
trust our own institutions so much that we're now willing to placate the Crown's institutions as if they might be better than the ones that we've established already. That's what we're at.
Hey, Phillies, what happens if King Charles never gives them the invitation? What happens?
10 Basquiat's probably.
Never asked.
That's not
them
what
to
we're
keep
talking
secret.
about. We're talking about Trump, what he
What
said.
if, right? All he
No,
said is.
we're not talking about if. No.
Hold on.
Samoa?
This is all he said, Chili's.
No,
It
Samoa.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. That's enough.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. What
That's
sounds
enough.
like?
He should
hold on,
not
hold
be
on.
saying
What
that.
sounds
He
like
should
a
not
good
be
idea?
entertaining that.
Hold on.
He
What
should not
sounds
be
like a good idea?
entertaining, subjecting symbolically or otherwise to the fucking monarchy.
Hold on. What
That's
sounds
fucked.
like a good idea?
That's totally fucked up.
What
and you
in the
can't admit
article is he
And
talking
you can't
about?
admit it.
What in the article is
You're
he
not
talking
an
about?
honest arbiter. You're not an honest arbiter.
What in the article is he talking about?
He's talking about joining the British Commonwealth, entertaining the
How do you know
idea of joining the British Commonwealth. I love King Charles. I'm interested in joining the British Commonwealth. Whether he
That
actually
is
does
not
it or
what he
not,
said.
whether he actually does it or not, he's
That is
already,
not what he
he's already made he's already made a grave error and
Hey,
shown
Florida, is that what he said?
No.
Yeah, he says I don't see anything wrong with
It was
it.
a,
all he said was-
secret meeting.
No, all he said was, Louis, is he shared the article, right? And then he says, sounds like a good idea. But
to join
what
the
part of
British
the
Commonwealth. Sounds
Hold
like
on,
a good
hold on,
idea
hold
to
on.
join the British
what part
Commonwealth.
of the
Yes.
what part of the article is he talking about?
He's responding to the British Commonwealth.
No, you're wrong.
I am not wrong. That's
You're
what he's
Referring
responding
to a secret offer. A secret offer.
Secret offer to
Which
join the
Donald
British
Trump
Commonwealth.
himself implied was to join
See
the
that?
Commonwealth.
You see
Right.
that, Louis? You
This
see
is
that?
this is Donald Trump's own making.
Implied.
This is Donald Trump's own making.
The best love our country.
Don't let him start double thinking you now. This is Donald Trump's making.
These guys
It didn't
are
have
saying
to
that
happen.
explicitly
Donald
said.
Trump made
I'm
this.
saying it's not, bro.
He put it on
They
his
want to
True
add
Social.
context that isn't there.
No, I just put a link. He put it on his own True Social.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking
No,
about the
Samoa's pretending like we're just adding things that didn't actually happen.
You
That
absolutely
he
are.
didn't entertain the idea of joining the British Commonwealth when he did, and he posted it himself. Yes.
No, he didn't. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about
Why are you gaslighting the stage, man? It says right here, Trump was responding on Friday to a U.S. Sun article based on Daily Mail report that the British monarch could pitch Trump on joining the Commonwealth as a member during an upcoming state visit to the UK. Quote, I love King Charles. Sounds good to me. How do you interpret that?
Why do I have to interpret it? That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, you don't
Okay,
have
this
to.
guy is a dunce,
It
bro.
says exactly what it says.
Hold on.
It means
Hold
what
on.
it means. And
All right,
Samoa's
hey, real
looking
quick
at-
question. Yeah, real
He's
quick
not. He's skedaddling. At
Is
this
that,
point.
hold on. So I'm saying that, what does that mean? And you guys are saying this is what it means.
It means what it says it means.
No,
literally says
no
it very
one is
plainly.
inferring anything. You want me to read it again for you a little slower?
Break that
Okay,
down
watch.
for you. Samoa
Listen,
is
Trump
pathetic.
was responding on Friday to a U.S. Sun article based on Daily Mail report that the British monarch could pitch Trump on joining the Commonwealth as a member during an upcoming state visit to the UK. His answer is, I love King Charles. Sounds good to me.
So
Yeah,
the
cool.
thing about it
So-
is a question.
So,
'cause it's
this could be a good one here, right? What he could be talking about is because he loves King Charles. He
Oh,
loves
so now
the
you're
idea-
interpreting, huh?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on.
He's the one
Because
that's
we all-
interpreting.
This guy
Yeah,
is
yeah,
hilarious,
hold
bro.
on.
Hey, yo, listen, you're a
Hey, bro, you gotta be
snowflake. All I'm
quiet, bro.
hearing is crying, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you
you're
gotta be
please
quiet, bro.
globber.
Yeah,
Just
you
get
gotta be
his
quiet,
dick.
bro.
No, man, just
Uh-huh.
get his dick out.
Yeah, you gotta be quiet, bro. You gotta be
Before
quiet.
you tell him it's wrong.
There you go, bro. So in this article, well, you actually got to read the actual article, right? Like that's some
Yeah, don't
report
be
from the actual article.
condescending when you're also
Come on,
going
come
back
on.
on your own
Nigga, you trying to
words.
cut me
Don't
off?
do
You
that. Just
doing,
say what
bro?
you gotta say.
Hey, we're sick of
How can I
hearing you.
say what
Can
I
you
gotta
provide
say
some
when the nigga's
sources
talking?
or something?
Do you hear him talking? How am I supposed to talk when he's talking? Come on, bro. All right, so back to the point I was making, right? So when he says sounds like a good idea, this is a part of the article. King Charles is going to ask Donald Trump or invite Donald Trump in a secret meeting to become a member of the Commonwealth. Something that sounds good in there, that when he says it sounds like a good idea, is King Charles, because that's who he mentioned in his response. I love that guy. It's a good idea for him to pitch something to me so that we can negotiate further terms. You guys are saying the part that he loves is the Commonwealth part. And I'm saying that it could be any part of the article that he's saying is a good idea. We're both trying to assume what he's talking about
He's
because
he didn't give
responding
us
to
anything.
a meeting about joining the Commonwealth.
He's responding. No, he's responding to a meeting where a pitch can be included.
Pitch.
Who knows?
Good idea.
But the meeting.
Good idea.
But the meeting.
Invitation
Good
hasn't been
idea.
made.
So I guess he's saying crumpets
It's
are
a good idea to get pitched.
Working so hard.
Yes.
He's
So,
it's
responding
not a
to
good
an
idea to get
invitation to
pitched.
talk about joining
Hold
People
on,
pitch all the
hold
time.
on.
You just say no.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's,
hold on.
that's when it's not a good idea to get
Hold
pitched.
on. Wait, hold on. So just real quick.
Okay, I'm ready to fight again.
So if it was an article where there is a explicit invitation, and then he were to say that you would have more ground to stand on. But because the article states in itself that this could be a thing if King Charles were to meet with him, which he accepted the meeting, but hasn't actually made the pitch, Donald Trump could be talking about the pitch in itself that, hey, these guys are willing to sit down in cooperation for my bigger question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not done yet. About reciprocity.
Samoa, or he could just be talking about the meeting, Samoa.
Yeah.
The
It's
fact
besides
that
the
they're
point.
gonna meet and
Do
negotiate.
you concede that
Why you all attacking? Why is it 19 niggas attacking one guy?
Samoa? Because he's centering himself. That's why.
Hey, bro, I'm not done yet, bro.
Yeah, but you don't win the
Yeah. Sounds good. The point I'm making is that I'm willing to stand here and wait until one of these adversarial reporters asks him the questions that you guys are running to answer. And then when he answers the question, it would be more, okay, it'd be better for us to understand what he's saying. Right. So, go ahead, bro. I'm going to go on mute right now.
Mohammed, this isn't politically correct or to beat the newsy.
But anytime Florida's on the side of an issue, I'm on the other side, just saying.
This is all BS. This is all BS. But check this out, Samoa. The thing is, even though you're trying to reduce it to him and the meeting, he's still entertaining the thought, right? And this is from Fox News. President Trump said Friday he liked the idea of the United States joining the British Commonwealth after a report claimed King Charles the...
Don't mute that, man.
Was Fox News Donald Trump? Did Donald Trump say this?
Your mic went off, Bull. I think you have a bad connection or something.
That's good.
Why'd you mute that, man, Smo?
Shut up, fool.
I think y'all afraid of Samoa and myself.
Yeah, I think it's possible that Trump could have been talking about just the meeting in general being a good idea, them negotiating, sitting down to talk about whatever. I think it's possible that that's what he was referring to. I haven't seen the article itself, but just from what I'm hearing people are saying and how they're quoting it, it doesn't sound like he's responding that he's absolutely responding directly to an offer potentially being made to join the Commonwealth, right? Because it doesn't say that the offer is for sure going to be made. It says that like it could be, but they're going to meet up, to negotiate or whatever. So he could be like, okay, that sounds good that we're going to meet up and negotiate.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't really.
That's exactly.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So that means he likes the idea, right? If it's up for negotiation.
He likes the idea of a pitch.
Are you reaching out in the first place?
Yo, like the dishonesty from people it makes any conversation impossible to have, and it's just. I'm just sitting back listening to it, and I'm hearing dumb shit like, he just likes the idea. Like, no, he said he likes the notion of joining the Commonwealth.
No, he never said that, bro.
We could be dishonest and try to,
They never said
He
that.
sure did.
He shouldn't even want to hear the pitch. It should not even be on
And
the
that's the
fucking
point,
table.
Chili's. You don't negotiate with terrorists.
Bro,
Here's the thing.
Listening to a picture to join the Commonwealth.
navigate dishonest conversations. It's just
Did
it's
Donald
annoying
Trump
as
say,
fuck to witness.
I like the idea of joining the Commonwealth? Did he say
Doesn't
those
matter
words?
if he's open to
He sure did.
if he's interested in the
You're a
conversation.
liar.
That is bad.
And when somebody says it doesn't matter, then that means he
He
didn't.
should not be open to the conversation.
Hey, whoever said that you are a Florida, okay, you got to stop that shit. Honestly,
Hold on, somebody
he
said
didn't
that?
say
It's on
that.
the
That they're
argument.
done trying to argue your dumb point.
Oh, hell no. Who said
Your
that?
secondary
That's
point is irrelevant to the primary one. That the statement itself is the issue. The idea of being okay with being pitched of joining the Commonwealth even is enough, right? That's not what the American head of state is supposed to do
So do you
constitutionally.
think that
He's
Donald
supposed to
Trump,
uphold the American institutions.
and that's what he's doing? And that's what he's doing.
By
No,
floating
when
the
he
idea
says-
of, and entertaining
Hold
a
on.
pitch
He's not
from the
floating
King of
it.
England to join the Commonwealth is not protecting the
You're
Constitution.
sensitive. You are really, really.
Alright, but when he says, I love you in the Matrix line? I don't know if you can hear us, bro.
Line.
Yo,
you
Samoa,
healed up from getting
what's up,
kicked in
bro?
the ribs from earlier.
What's that dial?
Yo, you know what the date today?
Yeah, today's the 23rd. Like, you didn't see you didn't see the breaking news? Date for you?
Free lady. Gustavo's on the phone.
Yeah, so I'll let you know in a little. Line, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
mad
yeah,
people
Yeah.
in the gulag.
yeah, he's in the Matrix, bro. Yeah, we're being pretty clear, bro. Like, if you look at what Donald Trump's writing on, like, they got travel bans.
Can somebody notify the Discord? We got
Yeah,
people
before
in
we
here.
pivot real quick, though.
Oh no, I'm talking about the same thing. Yeah, I'm talking about the travel alerts that Britain and other countries that are part of the EU have made for those that are traveling to the United States of America. And
And that has to do with the Commonwealth stuff out.
yeah, because because these are all
how.
yeah, so these are all Commonwealth states like Britain and all this stuff, right? To normalize relations, to taper down travel, to have the conversation with the king, for it to be televised and on every single platform, for people to see two nations that are the closest as ever. The Prime Minister has said this multiple times, standing in solidarity and agreement and cooperation in trade. And this kind of goes to the trade deal that they're talking about, because the April 2nd
Well,
date
sure, we don't
is gonna be
we don't need to join the Commonwealth to improve relations with one of our allies, right?
So read that again. Read it again some more so they.
Voted, and he says it sounds like a good idea. Like, I mean, I already know what you choose to do is to reinterpret that to say that, hey, like, we're open to the negotiation, even though no person who understands English or who's been reading English for their adult life would interpret it that way, right? There's a way that
I'm saying we shouldn't interpret it all.
What?
Yeah, I'm saying that those who make
Samoa doesn't
like
believe that we should take it serious. Like, the majority of anybody that's voted for Trump at any
that's
point
not what I
believes
said at
that,
all.
like, his words are just.
I'm saying that the reason why Florida always loses on stage, bro, is because he talks before he thinks. And that's
Very emotional. Yes, very emotional.
You're dodging everything, Samoa. Stay on top.
yeah. Oh, you don't want to bring up the relevance. All right. So the point that I was making is we are having some tension between our country and other countries because of the tariffs, right? And for Donald Trump to be able to be asked by the king for a meeting, Donald Trump's like, cool, we'll have the meeting, right? Diplomacy, right? Peace through strength, economic, whatever's advantageous for the country. And then you go there and you say, hey, bro, King Charles, I like you, I love you, bro, but this is what you guys are going to do. There you go.
Nah,
you can pitch me whatever you want to pitch me.
It couldn't be that, huh? It just couldn't be. It couldn't be that some people say, hey, you know, just have your people call my people. We'll work something out. No, people don't talk like that, huh?
Lying. Where was all this confidence earlier when you were getting kicked in the ribs?
Louis, you guys went to wait, no. Louis. Hey, Louis. I don't know if you realize this, but from my perspective, it took 3 of you, and all 3 of you got your ass kicked.
No, it only really took one of us, and we all just reiterated the same point.
That's the same thing. You guys hear that?
Which was that? I know you guys think it's so clever. You're an idiot.
To make a point, it takes 2 more to substantiate it and prove a win. That's basically
what you were saying. Was no win. You were saying all politics.
He's doing it again. You see that? Now I'm talking to Louis.
What Lion said was all Democrats, Republican, Democrat alike, are all shills for Israel. And this.
No, you said it. You said.
We know.
You said is Donald Trump was.
We know you're trying to get ahead of it.
You said is Donald Trump a shill for Israel, and I said
you're trying to get ahead of it. He wants to control the narrative, and he'll do it wrong.
That's two.
That the government is in the pocket of the Democrats alike, right?
Look how scared you all are.
It's hilarious. Relax and explain what happened.
And what Florida responded to that with was, hey, you didn't say that. But this, all right, look at Lion. Cowardly trying to get ahead of it. Not allowing me to represent the point. And you're in the matrix.
The other liar had to explain it.
But anyway, so yeah, Lion said, oh, like all these people, all these government officials are in the pocket of Israel.
No, you're lying. That's all. It's okay.
And then Florida said, well, if that's the case, then why?
Now for sure.
What else did I say? What else? No, you stopped it there. What else did I say? What else did I say?
Why do you keep talking? Can you just shut up? You fucking retard. And keep your hands on 10 and
Got it, hold on. What else did I say, Louis?
Interrupting niggas and focus on talking.
It's select.
So anyways, so with this,
you're being deceitful. You're selectively choosing what.
Hey, you were saying this about.
You're selectively choosing what part of the argument you want to use.
Before you can accuse him of any of this.
I gotta let him. I gotta let him finish. Did you all let me finish?
All right, bro. You're just.
Did any of you faggots let me finish?
Lion, this is.
Yeah, okay. No, I really don't care. I really don't care.
Fucking pussy over there.
You're a coward. You got
driving
Alright, so exactly. Hey, how about this? Hey, how about this?
Coward. You're a coward.
How about this? I won't say. How about this?
Shut up, coward.
Hey, how about this? I won't say anything. I won't say. Hey, look. All right, look.
Shut the fuck up.
I won't say anything else. Let's let Fort talk. Let's let Fort talk. Hey, Fort, I need you to say. I need you to say what happened. Hey, we can do this all day. I'll do this until the minds. Okay. Hey, shut your daddy up. Shut your daddy up. Now you're gonna shut your daddy up. You're trying to shut your daddy up. You're trying. Yeah, I don't even know. All right, so yeah, you're right. Good.
And loud and
all right, good.
Bro, you're mad timid, bro.
So
like confidence earlier because you were getting mollywopped, nigga.
So what we know what was actually going on was
Florida. You're saying this about these people, but like it's not the Democrats who suggested joining the Commonwealth. It's your guy Donald Trump. And you denied that.
So argue points, and then he tried to say that I said that all of these people were talking about when he ended with this. He tried to say that.
And then we all came off mic talking about.
So I didn't go against anything. You fucking idiot.
I dropped the news article.
Hey, I didn't go against anything. So yeah, and your news article didn't work in your favor. It didn't work in your favor, moron.
About Israel.
Moron. It didn't work. Hey, moron. It didn't work in your favor. You have selective outrage.
Dishonestly.
You're selectively out. all because you have a problem with Donald Trump, you don't want to deal with the fact that you're wrong about the other issues. The actual issue still stands. You're afraid that Donald Trump is actually doing what he says he's going to do. You tried to use the argument that Biden is somehow a better president because he didn't mention anything about a commonwealth or anything like that. And it's just complete and total utter nonsense. Meanwhile, your country is already the Commonwealth of Israel. You have no problem with that. You're selectively choosing. You're selectively choosing what you want to have a fucking problem with and what you don't. And I think it's really just down to the fact that you're jealous of Donald Trump. You're jealous of Donald Trump. That's really what it comes down to. Honestly. I'm just gonna keep talking. It really doesn't matter what you have to say. Most of you all are probably gonna die from rectal cancer from all of the ass fucking you've been taking anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so my point still stands. That you didn't win any debate. You lost everything. And listen, your positions are so fucking weak. Your positions are so fucking weak. You don't even understand what you're saying. All you're gonna do is move the goalposts. All you're gonna do is move the goalposts back, and then after that, pick and selectively choose what part of the argument you want to use as your catapult, as your vehicle, in order to try to get a win. You people always lose debates in this room. You always lose debates in this room, and the reason you lose debates is because you always come with your emotions. I want you to take notice that both the men that fight these points, never win debates at all. They never fucking win at all.
Hey guys, I know you guys are kicking the shit out of me, but I gotta go real quick. We'll be right back.
Competition than
fucking conversation. Because you're kicking my skull in right now, and I have no real good arguments to contend with anything.
Exactly.
I gotta go real quick. See you later.
The facts still stand. The facts still stand. All you've done so far to show everybody. All you intellectual coward. What are you talking about? Has anybody ever put those two words together ever?
Talking about Israel.
Intellectual coward.
You were talking about
They kicked me. I think we're doing something right.
If their context, if we do know that they use Jim's protocol, right? It sounded like they took it twice a week, so that means every 2 days. So they followed that protocol. But if it didn't alleviate their ADHD symptoms, and we don't know the levels of ADHD that each of these individuals have, and they're kind of missing a whole bunch of the data points to really assess.
Had to sit there and swallow crow, and I hate swallowing crow.
How did that even start, bro? I don't know. That whole thing.
It was, so there was this group called the Grapers. It like a whole like Frank and like the whole group of these like incel bastards, and they're like, women shouldn't vote. We should get rid of anybody with brown skin. Black people should be forced to have abortions. Like this kind of bullshit rhetoric. And they're trying to hide under the Republican Party, saying that they're more conservative than anybody else. Meanwhile, they just speak about doing horrible things to everybody else, which, last I checked, wasn't conservative. And then,
my friend, the trash bag is here.
Debate, and
somebody take out the trash.
Oh yeah,
it's beginning to stink.
People that fought in wars or fought for the military, joined the military, died or got injured, and nothing but cucks and pussies, and just was going off. And that was dialysis or Diogenes, whatever name you want to give them. And I was like, I got pissed off because I was arguing with 4 or 5 of them, and I told him to basically go fuck himself, and started ripping him a new one. And somewhere in the middle of all that heated yelling back and forth, somewhere on the hips said, oh yeah, I doubt you were ever in the military. And then he was like, I've been in the military, I bet you $1,000. I was like, I don't fucking care, whatever you want. And then fucking just proceeded to laugh.
He's talking about the bat.
At my phone at that point.
And then I fucking booted him from, I think, the room. I was just like, I'm fucking done. And then he's just never let that go.
He
so
welched on the bed.
I don't really fucking
He
care.
welched on the
And,
bed.
and others have told me, they're like, it was a dick measuring contest. And all he's done is cried about it. They tried to.
But what if there was an idea of God, like I mentioned about the way I think? Don't you think that could be more helpful to them to make their like own authentic decisions that are not horrifying?
All hail the Communist Party.
Is that considered communism?
No, I think that's just the troll.
I salute my comrades.
Behave, parrot.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
That's
It was a pleasure meeting you guys. I have to go to work.
All right, see ya.
What is work? Communists don't work. Communists don't have jobs. It is a collective.
Why are you talking in this voice? Why can't you
I am an NPC automaton who is a member of the Communist Party.
How come you can't do a picture like with one image in it? How come you can't figure out how to crop that so you only have one image in your picture? Like, what's going on there?
What is going on with you, Dr. Rascal? Why are you a communist?
Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since 20.
Hello, Dr. Nathan. Is your brain a pile of mush? You must have brain rot from chillism. How are you still alive?
This is bad.
From one of the bit like Eastern Orthodox chanting, the way that people read like the books in the church. Like,
He's trying to act like a robot.
Oh, yeah.
What did the Eastern what did the EO chant? We hate Jews. We hate Jews. The Holocaust was fake. The Holocaust was fake.
Is that what they do, Piper?
You are an unindividuated, self-actualized young man. What you just said is your inner shadow. You are a meme NPC. You are gay. You haven't had an orgasm with a woman ever. You must be incel.
Danger, Will Robin. I mean, you just.
If you want to see something that does sound like a robot chant, they do this like Hail Mary chant with all the nuns together, and it's sometimes televised, and that shit is like they do sound like robots. It's terrible.
Well, in terms of musical technology, the medieval times they created polyphony or whatever, meaning it's like
Talking normally now?
it's like 16 source audio, you know, to get like basically an echo.
Polyphony to get multiple sounds at the same time.
Mr. Taro, why don't you tell us your problem with communism? Go ahead.
I am confused. I thought this was a room about philosophy or religion, not about pathetic communists.
That could totally work in the comedy.
So,
religion is the opiate of the masses.
Okay. You are the one who brought up communism, but if you want to talk about the title, give us your opinions about philosophy of religion.
Yeah, so okay, let's just look at Judaism, Christianity, and Islamism. Each of those three major religions have their own distinctive esoteric philosophy. Islam, Sufism, Judaism, you could call Kabbalah, and Christianity, I think you could also say Kabbalah. And so it's not sex, this is philosophy of religion, Doctor.
Well, Kabbalah is just like the weird Jewish mysticism.
Yeah, Kabbalah, Sufism and Kabbalah are both like respectively the mystic traditions of Judaism and Islam. So they're not going to be like.
Well, what I'm saying is.
And you totally forgot about Gnosticism.
That's true. What I'm saying is Gnosticism is essentially the way of the mystic, and it's inherent in all major religions, and that is the philosophy of religion.
Okay, so
explain that. Expand on that.
Well, but hold on.
Gnosticism is a very specific belief system, you goofball.
Yeah, but look. So is there some reason?
It is considered unity with God.
Holy shit! Is there some reason to believe in Gnosticism? Like,
No, you've never been to Comic-Con? You've never tried to have fun on weed and wine and reading books? That's how you induce the trance-like state known as Gnosticism.
Alright, whatever. So do you believe in God?
Yes, I believe right now I am uniting with God at this very moment now.
Okay, why do you believe that?
Because I am drinking Miller High Life with orange juice, smoking weed and coffee, and I am about to engage in the Kabbalah and read some sacred books to myself to hypnotize myself and create a Gnostic effect.
I thought he was actually
Wait. What? Like, if Miller, we can't have a guy who drinks Miller High Life or whatever, like pissy American beer.
It's horrible. Have you
You're not listening.
They call it
You're
the
not listening.
I mean, but yeah, I agree.
You're not listening.
Now we got two of them.
They call Miller the banquet beer sometimes.
With orange juice and a blunt, it creates a divine mystic aspect in the human consciousness when you mix it with sacred text like Kabbalah.
Imagine if you mentioned it.
You really explored this.
I will put the link in the chat of myself getting stoned and reading Kabbalah so you can see how you can achieve the Gnostic state as well. I am a teacher sent from Hashem Ribono Shalom to educate the masses on creating unity with the Godhead now.
Oh my god, this totally just enamored with you, Carrot. You think you've made a new
It must have been destiny that you created the philosophy of religion room. You attracted my higher sense of self.
Boring.
Taro, you gotta keep trolling Andrew. It's getting to him.
He was punched at a party for talking to a man, and he has a TBI. We must have compassion on gay men who have been rebuked in their affairs of love and now have brain damage.
What the hell? What the? Andrew is a closeted gay man?
Next time you go to his room, ask him this question. Was he punched in the face by a man who he made a pass at a party at?
I think I will.
I might have to ask him that, yeah.
When you listen to losers for 4 years, you hear the stupidest shit, but I love to throw their shit back in their face.
It actually would explain other people. It would explain a lot of
highlight
things
with orange juice.
That's pretty disgusting.
I also put cinnamon on top of the foam.
I couldn't afford a blue moon.
Each their own.
Beers are getting expensive. 12-pack went from $9.99 to $15.99.
Was there a tariff on beer?
There is a tariff on stupidity and atheists who think they are smart when really they are pathetic because they don't like words, numbers, or books.
Yeah, Sully.
What, I like this thing.
I know. Same, yeah.
He must be talking about you, Rascal.
I know. He is.
You
Could
look
you-
at that one Star Trek book.
Could
I really
you...
don't like numbers, you know?
Who's closer to Jesus Christ, Dr. Raxkel? Jesus Christ or Che Guevara?
I'm gonna go with Che Guevara.
Did you say who's closer to Jesus or Che Guevara?
Did you just call him Che Guevara?
He did. That's why I said I kept it at Che. It's not.
Is that like if Shakos hybridized with Che Guevara?
Yeah. Oh my God. That would
Is
be a
Motorcycle Diaries your favorite movie, Dr. Rascal?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie, actually.
It's the story of Che Guevara.
Put the PTR. Free Palestine.
It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, do you want me to read it out to you?
I mean,
No, I want to hear a little summary of your.
Wait, hold on,
philosophy there.
Mr. Trashbag. Mr. Trashbag, I have a question for you now. Is this your time to defend the killing of Palestinian children?
It's my time to express curiosity about people who defend Hamas's right to murder Israelis.
It's his time to question whether genocide is okay or not. Since the answer to that question was yes, go ahead, defend the killing of Palestinian children. Well, wait, I reject it. Okay, you're right. You mean the answer to your question. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead and defend the killing of Palestinian children. Go ahead.
It is called the law of war, you pathetic little incel cuck who's never carried a rifle or marched 20 miles to an enemy position to destroy the enemy.
Actually, I'm pretty sure mounting a defense for something usually involves an argument, not robotic trolling.
Have you guys not heard the one about how the Palestinians like to maximize civilian casualties for several reasons?
Okay, I see. Right. So then,
have you heard that one?
How does that work? So the argument here, the Palestinians instead of tracking the Israeli bombs. Hold on.
You're not listening.
Yeah. So it seems to me like the argument goes something like this, right? Okay. So the reason that we should kill Palestinian children is because I have this belief about Palestinians that they're like these inherently like evil savages.
No, that's not what I said.
Who maximize civilian casualties.
No, that's not what I said.
Is that the argument?
I didn't say evil savages. Those are your words.
Well, do you think? Well, let's explore that. Do you think somebody who maximizes civilian casualties is like an evil savage?
Yes. Not necessarily.
Oh, okay. So how would you describe it?
Oh my god, what are you talking? When would that be okay? Let's just start with that.
You guys are like
how would you describe, Mr. Trashbag? How would you describe somebody who does that?
Well, in my understanding, the reason they want to maximize civilian casualties is essentially twofold.
Well, that's not what I was asking you, though.
What were you asking me? Restate.
Why can't my friend actually?
You're not going to describe somebody who maximizes civilian casualties as an evil savage. How would you describe it?
Please let him answer the question.
If I wasn't going to describe somebody who maximizes civilian casualties as an evil savage, what would I alternatively describe them as?
Right.
I think that there could be a list of things. We could get creative and describe them.
Okay, start with the first one.
The first one that comes to mind would be a religious extremist, not a
Okay,
necessarily.
so then let me restate the argument accurately then. Thank you for the correction, by the way. So the argument is something like, it's okay to kill Palestinian children because Palestinians are religious fanatics.
Religious extremists.
Is that
no, it's not. It's not okay to kill Palestinian children.
Okay, then why does Israel do it?
Well, I think they do it in attempt to target Hamas, but Hamas and the other.
But what you just said, killing Palestinian children is not okay. So
What does this have to do with the philosophy of religion?
Israel killing Palestinian children in an attempt to target
Is
Hamas.
this how you have all of it?
Israel killing Palestinian children in an attempt to target Hamas. Israel killing Palestinian children.
Is this how you have?
This is how he gets his dopamine? He gets his dopamine this way?
A Big Mac?
Yeah.
That
guy in the audience records people.
Jazzy doesn't go to the gym. She complains all the time.
Oh, that's what it is.
It's the Bible. Yeah, but you yourself are using yourself and sources. You can do that. You can do whatever.
Not the Bible. Tarot card. Welcome. I cannot invite people up on stage right now, but you're welcome to come on stage. It's an open room. So, David, you cannot.
Hello, I am an AI chatbot here to ask the question, what is God?
Without using the Bible, you cannot use the Bible with me. Okay?
Why can't he use the Bible with you to answer the title of the room? What is God?
Because I can demonstrate that the Bible is false.
You can demonstrate that you do not like books, words, or numbers, but you cannot demonstrate that the Bible is false. You just don't like books, numbers, or words. You are a complainer, Donald. I was sent from God to remind you that you are a complainer. God wants you to...
And they were talking about inflammation to treat that, to prevent, heart vascular disease. And she said, well,
God give you the strength with regards to losing your parents. Second of all, I think you're doing a very good thing with volunteering. Don't be too, for the lack of a better word, anal about it. Because if those people that you're helping usually eat non-halal meat, and they are non-Muslims, then you can provide them non-halal meat. There's no, from my understanding, I'm not a scholar, don't quote me on it, but from my understanding, what I would do personally, if I was doing the same thing as you, if I was helping and volunteering at a non-Muslim orphanage, I would be okay in serving that to them, because that's what they eat. However, the one caveat is, if, for example, in that orphanage there's a Muslim child, or there's someone that says he's a Muslim child, then I would go out of my way to make sure that Muslim child gets halal meat, personally. But that's obviously is different with regards to it, depending on your circumstances. Don't be too... I know you want to do things the right way, and I hope you do, in terms of get all the strength and people help you with that. There's no harm in that. But with regards to, like, for example, looking at halal meat signs, it's entirely your choice, because we have a faith. When we look at halal meat signs, personally, I think Brother Skinny, the other sisters, Brother Limited, and so on, when we look at halal meat, we trust that the person that is selling it to us has also that conviction that they are providing us halal meat, because the responsibility for them providing halal meat is also on them, because they're claiming to sell halal meat. God will judge them. You can't, because there's a two-way system here. I have a responsibility to ensure that I've looked and gone out of my way essentially to establish that I can trust this person and they're providing that halal meat. And then the person that's selling it has to ensure that they're selling halal meat. So don't stress too much about whether you can trust halal signs. You can obviously ask, as in, who are you, because there's halal monitoring committees in local areas, like in the US or the UK. And obviously, depending on how you kind of evolve, people will pick on, like, I want a meat that is slaughtered by a certain halal committee or something. But that's entirely your choice, and that will evolve over time.
No, not sure who is. But
you just have to essentially make sure that where you're buying it from, they say it's halal, they're sure that it's halal, and that's the way you can, because it's a trust you put into your butcher, basically. But even if it's all about intention too, that if you've made that intention, that I trust this person, that they've committed to selling me halal meat, I'm going to trust them. You're not going to be judged if you don't know, for example.
Well, don't you think, we have a responsibility to make sure, because I'll tell you
In other words, you have to complicate your life on...
Yeah, you don't need to complicate it.
With trivial issues when it comes to living your life.
I mean, that's something you're putting in your body. So that's not trivial. I'm sorry, I'll shut up. Never mind.
No, sister.
It is, to me, it's very...
In the study. The actual dosage was self-administered 50 micrograms after a 4-hour education of the participants. And then another part of the study was 13 and 26, depending on baseline data provided by the participants. It sounds like the university couldn't actually administer or provide the chemicals, so there's a lot of room for error in there, and I think that they understand that. It's a very interesting study, and I think that reading the study is far more interesting than the article.
Thank you for that. The 13 and 26 is the amount that Connor Murray has used in his 2024 and 2021 or 22 studies, so clearly they were modeling after him. I mean, I guess part of the question here, and I know that Jim knows Connor personally, I've met him on Clubhouse, is, why are you using 13, which seems to be, based on all of the reports we've gotten, that seems to be higher than what works for most people. So why are you starting with 13 as the low end of your research?
Well, it sounds like they're doing an EEG test, and they're starting the test with some level of baseline, what do they call it, arousal, so like state of awakeness or alertness, and they're measuring that, and then I don't want to misquote the article, but it sounds like they're advising dosage based on baseline readings, and then going back and testing EEG measurements in response to an exercise. And I mean, it says in the the study understands how limited the data is. And for an article, a quote unquote news article, I don't know anything about the publication. They took a lot of liberties in making statements rather than statements of fact. Even the title of the article, LSD does not help ADHD. This is not even really what the study is about. So,
well, I appreciate you finding the study and helping us
just
interpret it.
I'm trying to understand stuff that's way above my head. But yeah, we get this a lot, especially with articles about psychedelics. The one last week about the woman in Australia, also, it's like the article comes with all of these statements that don't really ask questions. They're, or have, like, what is it? So nonviolent communication is a concept that I like to reference when reading stuff like this, because we have statements that are willing to understand more, and we have statements that are, a blanket that don't allow for learning, right? And so when we're communicating, we're writing an article to the public. It's better if, especially when we're in the development of a scientific study, to pose the questions and the facts or the statements of like, oh, we think that maybe this has an effect on this, rather than no one with ADHD will benefit from LSD, period. I think all news articles could benefit from a little bit of query.
Wouldn't that be great if articles are written from an NVC paradigm overall?
Right.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? I've only studied it a little and should probably go back and take more classes, but I found that the reframe that it provides in terms of not making assumptions and not attacking other people and not making other people wrong is really helpful.
I would, however, agree experientially that LSD does not help my ADHD. It might help trigger a hyperfocus, or it might do the opposite. Granted, it's been 30 years since I've taken LSD, and maybe I should revisit that and revisit it in a microdose capacity. But like in my memory, it's a little chaotic.
Yeah, if you haven't tried it, my actual microdosing, I mean, I hate to say it, but micrograms matter. Each microgram of LSD has, let's say it together, 1.54 quadrillion molecules of LSD in it. Having 15 or 20 as opposed to topping out at something like 12 or maybe less for most people, not to mention all the Reddit studies where the Reddit reports where people are taking an order of magnitude less, they're taking 1 microgram or even less and still having effects. I think that, this notion that more is always better is so deeply ingrained in our capitalistic and scientific architecture that it's hard for people to think otherwise.
Sorry, I'm just reading this article. Results. 2 of the 4 participants dropped out due to COVID restrictions, and one participant because of non-adherence to the protocol. 3 participants were excluded, all from analysis because of missing data. So, like, really, there's no validity to, like...
How many participants were there in total?
I think there were 8. It was very, very small.
Jeez, and yet that headline will get all the publicity.
Right, and so people like Robert Kennedy will take that headline and move forward with that. I hate to make that blanket judgment, but I've known this person to move forward with information that's incomplete and clickbaity. And we have a massive endemic in our society right now where people just read headlines and people read headlines from unvetted sources. They quote data that they don't actually know the source to. We can do better. And soapbox.
No, your soapbox is good. We're glad to have you here on the soapbox.
Well, I'm gonna go take some mushrooms.
Well, good.
Wait, where did I put that? What's everybody else doing today?
I'm going to continue to get over my first head cold in over a year. I'm just always sort of shocked by how psychedelic my dreams are when I stop smoking pot, and just how awful, being sick makes you feel. I mean, we all know this. Nobody likes being sick, but I'm just always astonished by what not feeling well does to my mind as well as my body. That's kind of silly to even separate mind and body, of course. But
no, it's exhausting though, man. Depleted resources don't lead to solid decision making.
Yeah, I was telling my partner Linda that I was feeling like my whole career has been a waste and I'm a complete and utter failure. And she's like, "You really can't be thinking about stuff like that when you're sick."
Yeah, there should be a window of no decisions can be made during this time period. This will work. Sorry to hear you're sick. Glad you're getting better.
Yeah, the only thing that seems to really work is sleeping a fuckload and not doing much. And normally I'm so physically active and I have all of these practices and I just kind of had to let them all go. I think I did about a minute on the rebounder each of the last few days and maybe went on the vibrating plate for a minute. And that was more than enough. And I also found it really interesting that I use a Whoop to measure my activity, and they call it strain and how much effort you've put into a whole day. And so on these days when I'm sick, even though I feel like all I've done is walk around the block a couple of times and stretched a little bit, I'm still at high levels of total output and strain. That is when you're sick, doing things that aren't really stressful at all, use a lot of resources and take a lot out of you. All of which everybody knows. I just haven't been sick for over a year, so I'm just like, this is why we hate being sick so much.
That's an interesting concept to apply to the logic in that article. Is something that I've never really, I've kind of I think it's touched my brain, but I haven't really articulated as baseline. So when we're talking about set and setting, part of the set is how we are physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so say we're sick and we're depleted and we take a psychedelic, we're going to have a very different experience than if we're healthy, fully recharged, all of our, we've done all our exercise and our serotonin's working properly. So it makes it really variable. The experience can be extremely variable based on like your starting point or your baseline, and like just thinking about how we can calculate that and incorporate that into, like, you know, I don't want to say like prescriptions, but, you know, protocol recommendations based on this week's data set or whatever. And how can we include that in studies when we're analyzing efficacy?
Well, that would be to make an admission that the mind and the body are one thing and completely directly influence each other all the time, and that, you know,